Now we are ready to create our third panel in the list. So let's navigate to con hangman game guy panels corresponding package and create a letters panel class. We should follow the similar approach to annotate this class with the component stereotype so that it will be picked up by Spring Boot. This class will need to extend the JPanel swing component. Now we'll need to create a specific map that will keep the key value pairs of letter and corresponding button. Since we will try to simulate the entire keyboard of our desktop computer or laptop computer, depends on user's case. So I'm creating a simple map with the key being a string and the value being the corresponding J button, and we'll call it letters map. Now for the letters panel constructor, we'll set a simple layout of a grid layout where we'll use 3 and 0 corresponding grid layout structure. We'll set in place a create panel method that is annotated with post construct, so that this method will be automatically invoked by Spring. And we'll start to define list of corresponding rows from our keyboard. So the first list will contain all the letters from Q to P inclusive. So I'm adding here all the letters from the Q to P on our keyboard. Let's go with a similar approach for the second row, and we'll set up letters from A to L. Please recall that all letters are uppercase. J, K, and also L. And let's set in place the last row from Z to M. So array is as list Z, X, C, V, B, N, and the final letter M. So we define 3 lists of strings that will keep track of our 3 rows from our keyboard and include all the letters. Now we should add a descriptive comment, such as for each letter in the list we need to create a corresponding button. Now I would like to set up a method that will create a JPanel for each list of letters that will be set as parameter. So we'll receive each of the 3 letters, and based on that on those letters, we'll create a corresponding panel, and that panel will have a set of buttons that will match those letters. So I'm creating here a letters panel. This will act as an intermediate panel. We'll want to create a button listener corresponding instance, and let's also add a mouse listener. New mouse listener. And now for each letter in the list, we want to create a button, and the corresponding data should be mapped to it. So let's do iteration on the letters list that is received as parameter to this method. And for each letter, we will try to create a button that we receive as parameter to the constructor the letter. We will want to create some properties for this button, such as set preferred size, and also set the background color 100. Okay. And now we should add the action listener, such as this button will respond to specific events, and also mouse listener, so that this button will be able to respond to mouse events on mouse enter and mouse exit. And let's also add a specific font to this button. We can create here a variable, and let's call it font. And we will instantiate a new font. But we should not forget about the type. So this is font, the variable name font, and for the font we'll use bold and 26. Let's use the helper class for this, since this is a constant variable. Helper font, so we set the font for our button. And now for the letter button, in fact, let's add a letter button to the letters panel, and we need to also add it to the letters map, so the letter will be the key and the letter button will be the corresponding value, so that we'll keep all the buttons in one place, that is letters map. And since we create this intermediate panel, we need to return it, and under the create panel method we need to invoke the create letters panel for each of our 3 lists. So let's create a variable called qp panel that will return a panel of buttons from the QP list. Same for the second list from A to L, and also for the third list Z to M. So we have 3 panels defined, and we'll add these 3 intermediate panels to the main letters panel using this keyword, since it has a reference to the main panel. Let's remove these spaces. And now we have the letters panel in place. But we will also want to have the setter and getter methods for our letters map that will keep a reference to all our buttons that were added to the letters panel. So this is the get method, and let's also add the set method. Let's do this manually, since Spring Tool Suite IDE can do this automatically, but we can write this down on our own. So this letters map equals to letters map. And let's go to the hangman frame, and let's inject the letters panel. We'll use the auto-wired annotation, private letters panel as the variable, and over here we need to add the letters panel to the main panel, but this time we'll use the border layout dot center, so that we'll add this panel in the center of our screen. And let's start the application. And you can see the panel in place. Also the mouse listener is in place. You see that when I hover a button, the color is changed. Also the action listener is in place. When I click on the button is changed to green.